Welcome to Blending the Family, the podcast. Topics can range from finding your faith, dating after divorce, and mental health. Here's your host, whose inner child is still his outer child, Tommy Maloney.
Welcome to another edition of the podcast known as Blending the Family. I am your host, Tommy Maloney. How the heck are you? You doing good? You on a walk? You on a run? You driving cross country? What are you doing? Love to know. Tommy at blendingthefamily.com. Coming to you from same hotel from last week, but different room. Last week I had a sweet room. It was I had 2 bedrooms. I don't know why I had 2 bedrooms, but they gave me 2 bedrooms. And this week, just one room, and this desk is driving me nuts. I don't like this desk. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. I mentioned, I was asking, how are you doing? You doing good? I was so excited yesterday. I went for a run yesterday. I've been trying to get back into it. I really need to stay consistent on it. But it was so nice. I saw 2 dogs. I had to have my dog fix since the passing of Dookie. It's been rough in our household at times, and what I mean by that is some of the habits we've had to do because of having a dog are creeping as far as trying to reverse engineer them. So, for example, we used to keep a garbage can on top of a chair so Duke wouldn't get into it. Well, now that we've put the house back together to, you know how you have to baby-proof a house or dog-proof your house? Now we have to unproof the house. And so habits are hard to break, where I keep going, and I know my wife Ann keeps doing this too. We keep going to the spot where the garbage can used to be when we are now walking right by it going, garbage can's right there. Anyway, so I got my dog fix yesterday. It was awesome. 2 huskies. Oh, they were so friendly. They liked me. They really liked me. All right, on this episode of the podcast, it's going to be you and I. The title is Quit or Not to Quit. It comes from a LinkedIn article I read, and I'm going to link the article in the show notes. Please read that article. But it inspired me to start thinking about my relationship with my bonus kids, and something that's in my world, in my mind. And maybe you've gone through this. Maybe you're going through this, or maybe potentially you'll go through this. And that is, again, the quit or not to quit. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Next week is going to be a rough week. I'm going to still attempt to do a podcast. I've got some ideas for next Friday's show. But next week, I have 3 surgeries. One day we'll have 2 surgeries. 2 days later, we'll have another surgery. And in between the surgeries, Ann and I are going to go see Jeff Dunham. So excited about that. Super excited. Hopefully I'll be in some type of condition to be able to enjoy it. So get ready for hearing the highlights of the surgeries. Ooh, hold on. I'm going to have to record on Wednesday. Somehow. Some way. I'll figure it out. You'll figure it out with me, okay? All right. Another thing I want to mention is, please, social media. We are on, me, Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn. That's pretty much it. Twitter and Instagram had the call sign. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. You're probably screaming at your thing, screaming at me. Your headphones? I don't know. At Blending Family. BLENDING Family FAMILY. On both Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, The Tommy Maloney. Like I said, The Tommy Maloney. I'm going to put a sample in any moment now. I'm going to put a sample in of behind the scenes of recording. In the radio world, we call what you hear at the beginning the opening and the closing segments with our voice guy. Anyway, He's a dear friend. I've known him for over 20 years. I can't believe I had to do the math. Anyway, he wants to do a podcast together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of samples in of the goofiness behind the scenes. And we're going to put a podcast together. We have no idea what we're titling it yet. We're going to talk about some of our old radio stories when we were both in radio together and times when we weren't. We're also going to talk about, we both come from, we had divorces, we have kids, and so things like that. And like I said, no idea what we're going to title it, but here's a sample of one of the goofiness behind the scenes.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Is this going to take long? Because, I've got a shower today.
I hear you. Me too. I got to pee. So hopefully not. Oh, shit. Oh, I thought I had a thought. Well, forget it. It's gone now.
Because of this podcast.
Because of this podcast.
All right, there you go. So you hear Mark. Mark. I'm going to call him Mark. Well, he and I will talk what name he's going to use, because in radio, guess what? Not everybody uses their real name. I know. It's a shock. It's like being an actor in Hollywood. It's not their real name. Anywho, we just have a lot of fun when we're putting together the liners, the little fun pieces of the opening and closing. And so, like I said, he actually reached out to me, and we had talked about it before. A brief history. He and I worked together. He got a great opportunity, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to go with him to help produce his morning show. And he and I have had many conversations, and that is, it pretty much, I don't want to say ruined our radio careers. We both went on to other radio stations, but we knew we were on the verge of something. We knew we were creating something that could have taken us very far, quite honestly, with both of our writing talents, his unique humor, my unique humor. We're both from the Chicago area, so anyway, get ready for that. If you want to throw out ideas and names of titles for a podcast, I'll send you a free book from the 25 Tips for Divorced Dads. I'll give you something for your effort. Anyway, so there you go. All right, moving on. So recently, I was on LinkedIn, and I saw this article by Brent and Lucy Howell. They have a blended family organization called The Blended Truth. And the title of the LinkedIn article was called To Quit or Not to Quit, The Blended Family Struggle. And after reading it, I responded back to them saying, oh my gosh, the article was so good because I could really relate to it. But I wanted to take this one step further, okay? So, when you're in a blended family, it's not easy, okay? So, for example, my wife Ann and I always had I guess a vow, maybe is the word I want to use, and that is, before we dated for a while before we introduced the kids. When we got to the point of introducing the kids to each other, Ann and I agreed that if the kids didn't get along, we weren't going to continue our relationship. So let that sink in, okay? It's not fair to the kids, in our view, okay? Go ahead, send me hate mail, that's fine. But in our view, it wasn't fair to the kids to force them to like each other, love each other, eventually be under one roof, okay? The article that Brent and Lucy put together was very poignant because it talks about it's not easy. Okay, it's not easy being in a blended family. I talk a lot, I write a lot about, blended families versus traditional families. Traditional families, they don't have to deal with, ex-spouses. Okay? So, where I want to take this is from the point of view of being a bonus dad and having relationships with your bonus kids. With Becca and I, we've had a solid relation, a great relationship. But with Betsy and I, it's been a struggle. And there have been times where this is where I want to quit. I want to quit trying to be her, not necessarily be her friend, but just be somebody that she likes, or somebody that she enjoys being around with, because I don't have that feeling. For example, there were many times where she'd come over to the house and she would say, "Hi, Duke," and not say hi to me. Okay? And I get it. I understand it. You can't force relationships. Okay? But many of those times it hurt, because I think we've only had 2 arguments that I can think of. Yeah, I think there's only been like 2 major arguments. But I've learned through my own bonus dad that when you go into a relationship with the kids, you can't be a hard ass. You've got to go in and let them be them, okay? You can't go in there changing rules. You can't have demands. You are now a family unit, but they've already had their own lives. They've already lived. So it's your responsibility, quite honestly, to actually sit back, okay? I know a lot of the men out there, you want to fix everything, okay? If something's not right, you need to fix it. Well, stop doing that. 2 words, stop it. Because you're not going to fix it. You're actually going to make it worse, way worse, okay? So there were times when I just felt that somehow, some way, I needed to quit my relationship. And after reading this article, it reminded me not to quit the relationship, not necessarily keep pushing it or keep trying, but it's more of just being. Does that make sense? So being present, being in the moment, just being there. And it's funny because when we have family events and all the kids are there and we have a house full of people, I'm an introvert. I have no qualms telling anybody I'm an introvert. And when the more people are in the house, I like the opportunity to serve, okay? I like, if somebody needs a glass of water, they need a plate, they need whatever, I like being that person helping out, okay? I very much am probably like my grandmother when it's like Thanksgiving and she's usually the last person to eat because she's trying to take care of everybody. So that's what I want. I want to help everybody out and just make sure they're having a good time. So with Betsy, that's where I am. I just step back. I let her talk to her mom. I let her talk to her sister. I just step back. And if there's a conversation that her and I get engaged in, bonus points. That's awesome. I'm happy that her and I get to, talk and, converse and things like that. Even on Instagram, if she posts something, I'll comment or not comment. I'll just like it, it's my own weird way of saying, hey, I'm here. Okay. I'm waving. I'm over here. I'm waving in front of the mic. Like you can't see me. Anyway. So to quit or not to quit, I know as bonus parents, it's going to be rough. It will be rough. Again, with a traditional family, you're not dealing with former spouses. You're not dealing with, at times, anarchy within your own household. Don't quit. Don't quit. I can't quit. I know my wife wouldn't allow me to quit. One day I'll have a breakthrough. One day it's going to be a solid relationship, but it's life. Life is not a sprint. Life is a marathon, okay? So my advice to you is, number one, don't quit. Number two, be patient. And again, to all you men out there, quit trying to fix everything, okay? Stop it. Just stop it, okay? To me, this is very cathartic because I needed to get this out, not just for a podcast, but for myself, to remind myself that I can't quit. It's not allowable. Okay, I'm still a parent at the end of the day, regardless if it's my blood child. I'm going to be greedy on this, or selfish, or maybe I'm using the words wrong, but these are my kids. Okay, regardless if they're bonus or not, they're my kids, and you cannot quit on your kids. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Please, I'm enjoying these emails coming in. I feel like I'm actually finding more and more of my own purpose. Again, being a little selfish and a little self-centered. And I enjoy the emails. So thank you so much. Where's my other note? Okay, there's my notes. Here we go. Stay tuned for next week. I think I'm going to just record bits and pieces of what's going on. And then we'll do that. Check out Instagram. Check out Twitter at Blending Family. Please, again, trying to create a new podcast with my voice guy, my dear friend. And you heard that sample, so there you go. All right. Go over notes again. Just want to make sure. That. All right. I'm going to put this all together, do the show notes, and watch some hockey. As my one day dear friend Terry Crews said in a live interview, your success is my success. Thanks for listening. Thanks for caring. Thanks for sharing. Happy Easter.
Thank you for listening to Blending the Family, the podcast. Thank you for listening. And it once again proves that anyone can host a podcast.